Hello, my name is Sarah Sloan, and you are listening to The Sarah Sloan Show. Hello, you guys. If you're in a bad mood, you won't be anymore. If you had problems, you won't during the duration of the show. That's kind of the promise that we have to give. And if you do, don't tell me about it. Let me live in my pure bliss that everything's okay in life. I'm going to tell you something right now. I had thought for a while, what if I got these Birkenstock clogs? And everyone's wearing them. They're like the thing. They're very stylish. But also, I just like Birkenstocks in general because they're very comfortable and it seems like they're very ergonomic, good for your feet, all that kind of junk. Or support. At first I used to never really consider that stuff, but I'm not an old woman, but I feel it so much more, the comfort and everything. And so I was like, before I drop $150 on these Birkenstock clogs, let's spend like 30 on a knockoff instead, and then we'll see. And gosh, am I glad I did that. I got these knockoffs. Let me see. Yeah, I got these knockoffs. I already got a stain on them, and it's suede. You can't do anything about the stain. So if you're gonna get these, whether it's a knockoff or the brand, don't get a light color. Get something that you can stain and not have to worry about. And I know some people are like, oh, you just gotta put this or that on it and that'd fix it right up. Well, I'm sorry. I'm not good at that stuff. I always mess up. I always do the opposite of what I'm supposed to do. Here's an embarrassing story. Very embarrassing. I don't want to tell it, but I'm going to anyway because I started. I shouldn't have started, but whatever. My sister had told me that, if you needed to adjust your glasses, that you could actually put some heat on the glasses and then kind of adjust the frames and all that to make sure that it's like it really fits. Because I have a tendency where my glasses, they need adjusting after a while, but you have to usually go to the place where you bought the glasses, and that's usually Dallas for me, and I'm a little far away from Dallas, so it's not very convenient, so on and so on. And so for whatever reason, I thought she said microwave or something. I put my glasses in the microwave. And thank God these were cheap glasses. These weren't my expensive glasses. And it does what it does with a fork or a knife or anything else if you put it in the microwave. It was just like blowing up. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And I just stop it. And it's like the plastic is just like dripped off. And I'm just like, okay. And I throw them straight into the trash. And that was very embarrassing. But anyway, I don't know why I said all that. I was trying to talk about these off-brand Birkenstock clogs. Let me tell you something that people don't know about these. Okay, they are comfortable, but the thing is also like they could be overly warm or they're not warm enough. It's like you can never get the right temperature with them. And sometimes they feel sweaty. But then the other thing is sometimes your foot will slip. It'll slip out of them. It's like a slider. Sometimes it'll just slip right out. And then your heel will accidentally not go in the footbed. It'll go into this right here. And it makes me want to cry. And I do it way too often. It makes me want to cry like every time I do it. And it is terrible. My heel hurts right now just thinking about it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Okay, on to terrible news. Derek Chauvin, the guy that everyone thinks killed George Floyd, but George Floyd actually was overdosing on fentanyl and he died that way. And Derek Chauvin didn't have his knee on his neck for 8 minutes. He had his knee on his shoulder, on this area of him. And our body can take that. And that's what he was taught in training manuals. It doesn't mean that George Floyd's death isn't sad. It is sad. The fact that so many drugs are coming into this country, that is awful. But it wasn't some Derek Chauvin hates black guys and he was going to just kill a black guy because he felt like killing a black guy. That's not what he was interested in doing. Anyway, Derek Chauvin, he's been in jail and I think he has like 20 something years that he's supposed to be in jail for because he was found guilty and the charges of being killed or of killing George Floyd. Apparently while in prison, he was stabbed and his family was not told about it. They had to figure out through the media, just through the press. Imagine that. And it's so sad. The entire thing is just awful. So that's not good. If you're supposed to maintain order in a prison, people killing each other, people stabbing each other, that's not a good thing. But of course, how can you regulate it? how can you stop all that kind of stuff from happening? Just so sad that he was stabbed like that. And this whole thing led to the defund the police, and now there's so many cities that are looking for cops. They're really having trouble finding cops, and if there's no police and there's no order, this is why you're seeing terrible violence in the country. People without Christ are evil, and we're all sinners, but there's evil. There's nasty, nasty evil. So we need to remember that. Okay, so let's see. All right. Okay, so with the Israel-Hamas conflict, apparently now there's kind of a truce. They're kind of working something out because there's a lot of captives that Hamas has, and so they're releasing some hostages, and then there's like a ceasefire for that day. Is kind of how it's going. It seems like. So yeah, so on Sunday there were 17 Israeli and foreign hostages that were released. There was a 4-year-old girl with dual U.S. Israeli citizenship. So yeah, and I wonder how that was for them. Imagine being a hostage, in that kind of a situation. It was probably terrible. But it's good that this girl is home, and that they're kind of working out a truce somewhat. So I wanted to play Biden answering some questions from journalists.
Do you have an update on the other Americans who are being held and any sense as to when they would be released?
We are hopeful, but I don't have anything firmly to tell you at this moment.
Sir, do you expect that if you are able to use this momentum to extend the pause, have you extracted any guarantees about proof of life for other hostages, or do you have an expectation of how much longer you could push this pause?
Well, look, the deal calls for every 10 hostages released to extend another day. So I'm hopeful this is not the end. It's going to continue, but we don't know. And but I get a sense that all the players in the region, even the neighbors who aren't and have been directly involved now, are looking for a way to end this so the hostages are all released and Hamas is completely, how can I say it, no longer in control of any portion of Gaza.
And do they have control of all of the hostages, or are there still other militant groups that you have to deal with?
We think there are probably other militant groups, but we're not certain.
So yeah, so some good questions that they were asking. Each day that there's fewer deaths is a good thing, ultimately. Obviously, this whole conflict is just awful. But yeah, so of course, it's scary because we've shown that we're willing to pay a very high price for hostages, American hostages. And obviously, it's good that we're willing to give for hostages, but we gave so much to Iran, for example, that it shows other countries, okay, if we take Americans, then we're going to get like billions of dollars for it. And so it's almost like we're really valuable. It's not good. It's been a mess up on his part. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so the next story I wanted to go to was the comedian Matt Rife. I don't know if you've heard of him. He is very popular, and he's kind of a young, good-looking comedian, and his specialty is crowd work. In the world of comedy, there's material, there's crowd work, that's kind of the two main categories of stuff. And then, of course, there's a million types of material, but Matt Rife is more of a comedian that's better at crowd work. So essentially what that means is he can just get on a stage with a microphone and interact with the crowd, and it's so funny, and he's really good at it. He'll elicit laughter, he'll ask great questions, he'll get great answers. He's just good at that dynamic with the crowd. Of course, it's scary in a sense because you have no control, because now you're putting your comedy on the line of this interaction with a stranger. It's risky by a long shot. So you can have some pre-rehearsed answers on maybe what you think a person will say. Like, you can kind of try to plan it out, but it's kind of tough. I've tried it a little bit. It's not easy. I don't know. But I will say, because people don't know what's going to happen, they seem to laugh much more easily at crowd work. And so I think it's easier to get laughs with it, but it's also, like I said, riskier. And then also, some people don't look at it favorably because it's like, hey, write some jokes. If you wrote some jokes, you wouldn't have to do all this crowd work. And then also, then the thought of crowd work is that now people think with comedy shows that this is about them, that they get to now speak, yell out, whatever, and that they have a right to do that. When in reality, like in many other art forms, like, an orchestra, an opera singer, or whatever, like, people would not do that. They wouldn't like try to interact or make the show about themselves. They're going to watch the opera singer. They're going to watch the orchestra, so they're going to watch a comedian, not to try to yell out stuff and make it about themselves. And, you think about these people that are videotaping comedy specials, and they're really trying to make sure that everything's, good on sequence. Whenever you have people yelling out, like, okay, you just ruined my video. I didn't need you yelling out, So, but yeah, all that to say, Matt Rife, I think he's a little bit weaker in his material. Of course, this guy is still really talented, and he's been grinding for like 10 years plus now, trying to make it in comedy. And so he's like really finally having this true success. So in that sense, you got to be happy for the guy. But he released a new special, and there's one joke that's really irritating people, and it's in regards to domestic violence. And so I'm going to play a little bit of this entertainment tonight about it, and then we can discuss.
Baltimore, one time I ate lunch there, and the hostess who like seats you at the restaurant had a black eye. A full black eye. And it wasn't like, what happened? It was pretty obvious what happened. And we couldn't get over the fact that we're like, this is the face of the company? Like, this is who you have greeting people?
Matt Rife is facing backlash after clapping back at critics who slammed his new Netflix special, which includes jokes about domestic violence. The joke in question is at the beginning of Matt's stand-up routine during his debut Netflix special, Natural Selection, when he tells a story about being greeted at a restaurant in Baltimore by a hostess with a black eye.
And my boy who I was with was like, yeah, I feel bad for her, man. I feel like they should put her in the kitchen or something where nobody has to see her face, And I was like, yeah, but I feel like if she could cook, she wouldn't have that black eye.
After receiving some laughter from the audience,
So definitely, it's like, it's a little cringy. Of course, if somebody's undergone domestic abuse and been a victim of that, they're going to be very offended at that joke. Also, comedy, the whole point of comedy is to push the line, to offend, to see kind of that shock factor. And in my mind, because I'm so interested in comedy, I always err on the side of, if you don't like it, don't ever go to a show again. Don't watch the Netflix special or wherever this is on. I don't even know what it's on. Don't watch Matt Rife again. Unfollow all his Instagram pages. If you don't like it, just shut up, kind of. But I also understand that it can offend. But that's life. Like, watch Jim Gaffigan. If that's more your style. I have never really watched Matt Rife. I don't really care for his type of humor, so I don't watch his stuff. Do I think he should get canceled over this and have to do this big apology and all that? It really takes away from the comedy if you're always having to apologize for every joke you make. It's a joke. The whole point is that you don't sincerely mean what you're saying. And so, like this woman that has a black eye, they don't actually know what happened. There's no idea there. Oh, if she could cook, then she wouldn't have that black eye. Like, okay. It's frustrating that everyone's trying to police comedians, but he's really not giving into it. He said, okay, if you want to see my apology, click this link. And then I think it was like, what was it, advertising for like, gosh, I forgot. It was something like insinuating that you're a baby. And yeah, he doesn't seem to care, which I think is a smart move, because if you give into it once, then they're going to make a big deal about everything you're saying, and you'll have to constantly apologize, because there's so much power in the fact that you can come up to someone and say, you offended me. And what do they have to do? They have to say, I'm sorry. They have to bend over backwards for you. They have to do all this kind of stuff. And it's awful. It's awful. So it's better that whenever people come after you for that you say, no, get over it. And you're going to lose some people, but you're also going to gain some people that will respect you for the fact that you didn't bend the knee to this woke mob or whatever. Now, if you're sorry and you sincerely do want to say you're sorry, I think it's dangerous too nowadays. I don't think you should. Whoever he offended, I guess you could have that conversation with that person and deal it out privately with them. But it becomes this thing of like, you offended one person, so therefore you have to apologize to thousands and thousands and thousands of people. It's like, that makes no sense. Like, if I steal something from someone, do I have to apologize to the whole community, or can I just apologize to that one person I stole something from? It was the same thing, by the way. Like, I guess this is all tying in together. I didn't even mean for it to be this way, but it's tying in with the George Floyd and Derek Chauvin thing too. It was always so frustrating to me, because even if Derek Chauvin was a complete racist and he had his knee on George Floyd's neck, and that's, what happened was everybody said, white people, you need to educate yourself. I saw this for weeks and weeks, for months on my social media. Educate yourselves, white people. You're the problem. I had to listen to podcasts, even by Christians that I really respect, where they're having on black guests, and black guests are like, yeah, basically all white people are racist. And the white person's like, I'm so sorry, I am a racist, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, this is so stupid. This is so unfair that we are being accused of something. Essentially, if you are white, you are problematic, you are racist no matter what, you think you're superior to black people. And back in my day, I thought you weren't supposed to assume things based on race. I thought you weren't supposed to stereotype, make assumptions about people based on race. Oh, but it's okay if it's white people. So yeah, so it's this annoying thing that can happen. I congratulate Matt Rife on being able to stand strong. And maybe if it's not really a great joke, then just write a better one and just don't do that joke again. That's it. I've done so many jokes where I never tell it again. I didn't like it. I felt like maybe it was too far. It was just like not my brand, not my style. But that's a learning process. You refine yourself. And so it's the beauty of comedy. But yeah, that story felt a little relevant to me. Okay, so this is another thing that I've been meaning to talk about it for weeks now, but I've just been so sidetracked. I don't know, like my mind is just all over the place. Like a Hot Wheels car. Just like vroom, vroom. And it's this Airbnb advertisement. And just in general, I'm really falling out of love with Airbnbs. I think I used to be a big fan. The idea of it sounded really great. Oh, the fact that you can make some money off of an extra room, stuff like that. But I think it's become much more than that, where rich people are now buying up all these apartments, all these houses, and the middle class, we can't buy anything. It's all bought up by these rich people that are just renting it out on Airbnb, or just in general, just renting it, and for higher prices, and you could have bought it for yourself. And so I think it's become bad. It was supposed to be better than hotels. If you were going on vacation, staying in a house rather than a hotel room. But now there's all these rules on these Airbnbs, like, hey, you got to do this, you got to clean that, you got to, like the stupidest stuff. Like, I understand, okay, don't leave trash everywhere. I get that. Or put the dishes away. I can understand that. No, even that one's too far. I'm sorry, that one's too far too. But I can understand, like, don't leave this house a disaster for us. I get that overall sentiment, because you're opening up your home and trying to make money on it. Or if anything's broken and stuff like that. But it's just crossed the line now. They got rules where it's like, blow 3 times on the doorstep. Whisper on the doorknob 40 times. Like the silliest things. Roll around in the bed 50 times. Why do I have to do those things? Why is there a camera watching me do this? Why is it yelling out, you didn't do it enough, you need to do it some more? Why is that happening? I don't get it. And so hotels just seem a lot easier. You can go in and out of a hotel and they're not expecting you to clean stuff. They clean stuff for you. It's just easy. You know what you're going to get is predictable. Sure, you can't have a whole house to yourself, but whatever. But the other thing is, I remember somebody told me that they went to an Airbnb and they were like just talking, and then they're like, oh man, yeah, we're hungry. We better just go get some food. And then the hostess came and they were like, oh, hey, I just happened to bring by this food. And it was like, what? What? Did you hear us talking about food? Are you watching us, kind of a thing? And they didn't ask that or anything. And then there was something else where it's like, oh, we ran out of soap. And then, hey, I just happened to bring some soap. Oh, what? I think you're listening to us. And I said that near the bathroom. Do you have cameras in the bathroom? So it gets a little creepy. And this advertisement that Airbnb did, it's not as creepy as what I'm saying, but it's still like kind of creepy if you think about it. It's supposed to be all light and fun. I didn't find it to be very light and fun.
Our first time in Kyoto.
Oh yeah, it was a whole new thing for us. We stayed in the room in Takashi's home.
We told Takashi that we wanted to go to a nice sushi restaurant. He was like, I can teach you.
I think that's where the sushi party started. It was so funny. You got pretty good at it.
Yeah, I think I'm quite talented.
That's creepy. I know they're trying to make that all light and fun. Hey, let's go get some sushi. No, I'll teach you how to make it. Hey, we really want to just go get some... Nope, I'm going to teach you how to make it, okay? Hey, we're trying to open this door. Why is it locked? Because you're going to learn how to make sushi with me. I'm Takashi, okay? And one thing I love doing is teaching people how to make sushi. Well, can we at least, just like, we just want to take some photos outside. No, you're going to learn to make sushi. Okay? Takashi, we love this home. It's so beautiful, but we do want to get out. We've been here for like 5 weeks and we actually only booked 3 days. And Takashi, are you serious? Can we really not leave? I want to teach you how to make sushi. You've taught us 15 times, Takashi. We're actually really good at it. We think we can go back to America and open our own sushi stand, restaurant, whatever we want to do. We're really talented now. You're not going anywhere. My name is Takashi. It's creepy. But that was supposed to be a fun and light Airbnb commercial. And there's 23 million views on this video on YouTube. It was posted 6 months ago. Comments turned off. I promise you, if they were turned on, there would be many people agreeing with me that that is a creepy commercial. So I'm not right about everything, but I'm right about this one. I have a good feeling about this one. This one's different to me. Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. There was a buy one, get one Blizzard deal on the app, on Dairy Queen's app. Get the Dairy Queen app if you don't have it. They give you a lot of good deals. But it was kind of like a Black Friday deal, but with Blizzards. And so I got 2 larges because, like, why not? And then I added nuts to it. I just, like, put it in another cup, and I was just adding nuts, adding some ice cream, adding nuts. And you guys, oh my gosh, it slapped. There was a fudge caramel cheesecake one. It was horrifically good, like scary good. And then there's a peanut butter pie one that I'm going to try as well. So I'm very excited for that. But man, it was a good deal because Blizzards are expensive now. They're like, the large I think was $6.70. So 2 of them for that price is a great deal. But for one of them, for soft serve and some toppings, why is it got to be that expensive? That's my question. And why did I talk about that? I don't know. Oh yeah, and then speaking of sushi, there's a great place that I go to, and it's like they give you 2 rolls for $10 or 3 rolls for $14. And they're decent sized rolls. You can go to some restaurants and get 1 roll for like 20. So I love that. And I know it's not healthy, but I love the cooked ones, the fried ones, because they're just so delicious. But yeah, my friend, he loves this one where it's just avocado, surrounded by rice. And that one's really good too. Don't get me wrong, but I love the one I get more. It's not healthy, but it's so good. It's got a little jalapeno, the cream cheese, it's fried. It's got like another little piece of fish. Oof. Oof. It's amazing. Sarah is so happy whenever Sarah feasts on that. And the fact that I'm speaking in third person should tell you how good it is. It really should. It should tell you, but will you listen? Okay, so let's go to the verse. It's going to be Daniel 2. It's a lot. It's a lot. So it's verse 16-ish. Basically, this story is the story of King Nebuchadnezzar, and he has the dream, and he wants the wise men to interpret it. And the wise men are like, okay, well, wise men, or whatever you call them. And it's like, okay, well, what's the dream? Can you tell us the dream? And then we'll interpret the dream. And King Nebuchadnezzar is like, no. You tell me the dream that I had and interpret it. And all these people are like, we need to know the dream. We can't figure out the dream that you had in your mind in the night. Can you please tell us the dream? And he's like, if you guys can't do this, I'm going to kill you. And so he starts sending his men to kill them. And then he goes to, they're about to kill like Daniel and Hananiah, Mishael, Azariah. And Daniel's just like, hey, can we just have a few days or whatever, just some time, and then just like we'll figure it out. And then he said yes, and so they start praying. So verse 18, that they might seek mercies from the God of heaven concerning the secrets, so that Daniel and his companions might not perish, because they were literally about to be killed with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then the secret was revealed to Daniel in a night vision, so Daniel blessed the God of heaven. He literally got the vision. He got the dream from God. And I always just like read past that, or I'm just like, oh yeah, God gave him the dream. No, that's a big stinking deal. Imagine that your boss says to you, hey, what was my dream? And I want you to interpret it. And then you're just like, hey, I don't know what the dream was. Well, I have a gun in my pocket and I'm going to kill you right now if you don't tell me what my dream was and interpret it right now. Oh my gosh, please don't kill me. That's not cool. Could you please give me some time to pray and ask God? And you're like, God, please, 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 don't let me die. Please tell me what the dream is. And then God tells you the dream, and then you're able to tell it and interpret it to your boss. And then he's like, okay, I'm not going to kill you. That is such a miracle. And I know we're not supposed to, like, the supernatural should be supernatural. I've heard that, but it does still shock me. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't. So then Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his, and he changes the times and the seasons. He removes kings, raises up kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who have understanding. He reveals deep and secret things. He knows what is in the darkness, and light dwells with him. I thank you and praise you, O God of my fathers. You have given me wisdom and might, and have now made known to me what we asked of you. For you have made known to us the king's demand. And I thought this was beautiful as well, because so often we ask God this or that, and God does give it to us. But it's not in this amazing, spectacular way, in a gift box where you pull the bow off and you unwrap the paper. He just blesses us. We ask all these things. Like I always ask God, please protect me, from bodily injuries or car wrecks or things like that. And day after day, he protects me. He blesses me. He provides for me. I always have food to eat. The problem is I have too much food to eat. Things like that. And we don't say thank you, God. We just go on to the next thing. Oh, okay. He answered that. God, I have another request, blah, blah, blah. And imagine if our friend did that to us. Our friend's like, hey, could I have $5? You give them $5. And they're like, oh, could I have another $5? You give them $5. And then they do this every day, and you're like, hey, can you like thank me for the fact that I've given you $5 all these days? And they're just like, can I still have $5 more? And they're like, I don't want to thank you. Just like imagine that, how that would make you feel. I don't think it would feel very great. But Daniel is so the opposite of this. He really is like, God, thank you for this. Blessed be your name. For wisdom and might are hid. He just goes on and on, just thanking God. Because it was a miracle. But this is a spectacular miracle. But seriously, the fact that we have life every day and that we're not burning in hell every day is a miracle. We forget that. I forget it all the time. But it is a miracle. And so every day we should be astounded. We should be so grateful. Like at my job, we get so much time off. And, I've had coworkers in the past that are just like, oh, well, I just want more time off. I hate that I have to come back to work. And it's like, hey, can you just be grateful with the fact that like we get this time off? Because like a lot of people don't. Like that you have good coworkers to come to, that you have a job in the first place in this very unstable economy. Like gratitude is such a powerful thing. And if people don't have gratitude, it is really unappealing. It's really not attractive. So, yeah. You guys are wonderful. Yeah, Thanksgiving was great. The food was really good. Yeah, turkey. It was a smaller turkey, so we ate that pretty quick. But yeah, it was delicious. Cranberry sauce was great. It's in a can. How great can it be, The green beans were so good. The next day, my mom, she made a soup of it. She blended it. But it was actually a really good soup. It like a green soup. It looked like the soup you'd eat like like at a rich person restaurant. And then there was, the sweet potato was very good as well. My mom, she cuts that up and then she puts like spices on it. So it's amazing. Like roasted sweet potato is what I would describe it as. I made a cornbread just with the mix, but then it had some interesting additions to the recipe, like where you add in nuts and then a banana. So it was like a banana nut cornbread muffin. And it actually ended up being okay. Yeah, it was surprising. I was actually very happy with it. And then we always go to Costco for the pies. And so we got an apple pie and then a pumpkin. And the two of those combined were less than like $20. Yeah, it's like $6 for the pumpkin. And these are huge pies. Like seriously, like probably this big. And the pumpkin or the apple was like 13. Yeah, so it was a great Thanksgiving food-wise. And then, just being around family is awesome. I've got the best family in the world, so not trying to brag, but also I am. So if that's okay with you, it's okay with me. But I'm grateful for you guys. I'm grateful for this podcast, just the opportunity to be able to like talk, think of different topics to talk about, to, read articles, learn things, get perspectives from other people. It's really a blessing to have the equipment to do this, to have the time to do this. It's a blessing. And yeah, the fact that you guys give time to listen, that means the world to me too. So I just wanted to share some thanks and have some gratitude because this is a big deal. It's a big deal to me. And it's a part of my life, this podcast. And so you guys are a part of my life. And I appreciate you guys. And if you're not watching this, you're not watching this. So you don't even know that I'm saying this. So that's okay too. But I just want you to know that I love you. And I know love is a strong word, but oh, baby, do I mean it. Oh, do I mean it. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. And I hope you have a great week, because if you don't, that's a little awkward. All right, bye.